Okay, so what is attachment trauma? Attachment trauma is that those types of trauma when they specifically relate to a caregiver. So this caregiver could be, normally it's your parents, but it could be a step parent, a grandparent, somebody that is with you all the time. So we are designed as humans to create interactions, to create connections and attachments to our caretakers, to the people that are around us the most when we're little, to who we have to rely on. And we, as humans, being born as human babies, have almost nothing, right? We need our parents for everything. We can't feed ourselves, we can't move, we can't do much of anything other than lay there. Unlike, a lot of animals that are born and, can be completely alone. They never even meet their mothers. So, with attachment trauma, we rely on our people, our caregivers for everything in the first couple of years of our lives. In addition to relying on them for things, we are also relying on them to teach us how to interact with other humans. We get all of our understanding, all of our learning, all of our ability to interact from those first interactions. So if we are being tended to, and when we cry, which is our only form of communication as a newborn, if we are getting our needs met, if we have somebody who's calm, picking us up, soothing us with a soft voice, gently cradling us, tending, checking, do we need a clean diaper? Do we have food? When was the last time we were fed? Are we possibly just tired? Right? Are we too warm or too cold? If we have a caretaker that can attune themselves to us, that can feel into us and look at us and be aware of what maybe this child needs and can then tend to that child, we learn how to do that for ourselves and we learn how to connect with others. It teaches us how to regulate our bodies. So when we are in distress and we have our calming mother in our space and in our face, and we see her calmness and feel her energy be calm, we are then able to learn to calm ourselves. That is how we actually create self-regulation. But many, many people go by this old adage, let them cry it out, teach your child resilience. Don't pick them up just because they cry. You're going to create a spoiled child. Those acts, just those minimal acts, are enough to create an attachment trauma that can cause that person in the future to not trust themselves, to not be able to ask for help, and to basically shut off needs and wants. Then you look at those of us that had physical, emotional, sexual trauma, people who were actually, treated really poorly for having these needs. There's neglect and then there's active abuse towards the child in these situations. So, depending on what types of attachment trauma we experienced and how they affected us as individuals will play a huge part into how we react in the future. This will not only affect our ability to attach with friends and lovers, but later with our own children. Having attachment trauma affects us on every level because it really changes how we feel about ourselves. It makes us doubt ourselves, which leads us to doubt many things in life. We feel out of place, we feel broken, we feel wounded, damaged, we end up thinking everything bad's going to happen. Like, attachment trauma is no joke. Most of us experienced some form of attachment trauma. We are being affected from these pre-verbal times. They are affecting us on a level that is very body based and very central nervous system based. These are not surface stuff. These are things that are embedded and ingrained in us and that we have been responding to sometimes since birth. So keep that in mind as we move forward. Attachment trauma is a super tricky thing to heal, but you are on the right path. So now we are going to learn a little bit about what happens when we don't have healthy attachments.